So let's get with the program, guys. Bitcoin making a nice little flavorsome move to the upside. I mean, okay, it's been a bit of a tricky day, but welcome to Trump administration, because that's what it's all about. In tonight's video, I'm just going to break down a few things, go over what's going on with MicroStrategy, and of course, Bank of America is trying to get involved in crypto. Maybe regulations are going to change for crypto, which would actually make it accessible for banks to start buying it. Could you imagine Bank of America just casually goes over to Binance or Coinbase and like, I'd like to place an order for 55 Bitcoin, please? Happy days. But will it be for their clients or will it be for banks? Because if banks are authorized to buy cryptocurrency, they're just going to be picking up whatever's there, and then we ain't going to have anything. We're not going to be able to buy anything because they would have brought it all up themselves. And then, of course, they'll want to sell it to us because then we will be believing that it's going higher and it's going to keep on going higher because banks are involved. And that'll be the perfect time to dump it. With that being said, welcome to tonight's video, guys. Let's break it all down and understand exactly what has been going on. So here's the calendar. What does the calendar tell us? Well, we've got an interesting couple of days ahead of us. So Wednesday, we've got the ECB President Lagarde speaking. Is she going to make it easier for the euro? Is she going to cut the interest rates? Because that is what the prospectus is. But Trump's going to be talking on Thursday, so that's going to be interesting. It's tentative, so it could be at specific times. They're going to let us know when that's going to be the case. And then, of course, we have the unemployment claims. But the one that I'm looking for is the Bank of Japan's outlook. That's what we're looking at. And remember, Trump hasn't said anything about realistically the tariffs with China. And this is what the Bank of Japan is effectively waiting for. Now, with that being said, just quickly bringing your attention to this right here. Bank of America CEO says banks eager to enter crypto if regulators allow. Let's be honest now, Trump is more than likely going to allow that to happen. Of course, the SEC is going to say you got to make sure that this comes into play. This has to fall in line with regulations. They're only allowed to buy a certain amount of crypto. But quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, banks stepping into the game and buying it, well, happy days. Well, when you think about it, they are already buying it when you think about it. Because look at the ETF. The ETF is a bank, such as, for example, well, not a bank, but you've got BlackRock, and they're going to turn around, or JP Morgan, where they go around and say, look, I want to buy some Bitcoin, the transfer agent, because BlackRock and JP Morgan are APs, which is authorized participants. They put in an order, then the transfer agent comes in, gets that Bitcoin, buys it on their behalf, and then puts it into a little vault and says, bang, that's JP Morgan's, that's BlackRock's, and that's their Bitcoin for the ETF. Happy days. Just imagine if Bank of America or the banks get free roam of crypto. My God, that would be absolutely wild. Another wild thing, MicroStrategy at it again, bringing their balance to around 461,000. Still not claim the top spot because according to the ETF, BlackRock has picked up 559,000. It's going up. Going into the actual blockchain itself, we can see here that there's been barely any selling. Okay, as I said to you earlier on this morning and last night, when we had $1.8 billion worth of Bitcoin ETFs, and then we got 220 million going into the Ethereum ETF. I mean, it's getting pretty interesting, and this balance just keeps on growing. So it just tells us that adoption is coming into play. But the thing is, you've got to say to yourself, like, how long is it going to go on for? When will Wall Street come to the idea that they need to hold the ETF? Because that's what we really need them to do. We need the people buying the ETF to have the same mentality as crypto. Hold on to your bags. But the problem is that's not going to be the case because it's mum and dad investors, you know? But going into it all, you've got here, CEO Coinbase, good old Brian, is saying that Bitcoin's going to reach multiple millions. That's only if the US does turn it into the Bitcoin strategic reserve. And that's exactly what everyone's waiting to hear from Trump. They want to hear him talk about that. With that being said, going over into it, you can see here, look, nothing's been said, but he did say he was going to sign 3 crypto-related executive orders today, but nothing's come about from it. I'm not hearing anything that's grabbing everyone's attention. But let's just go over to Bitcoin price action to put things into perspective to understand exactly what we've got. So Bitcoin takes a move to the downside, then makes a nice little recovery back up. It was a tricky one today, to say the least. Now, if Bitcoin continues with its narrative to the upside, Platinum members, you should be paying yourselves, to be quite frank with you all. This was the setup that I sent out earlier on today. And if you are a Platinum member, well done if you exploited it. It was a little bit tough with that stop run, but that's the thing you've got to take in cryptocurrency. They're always going to be going for liquidity and do those little sweep reversals and then going back up. So Bitcoin, in principle, wanting to see it go towards the 106,879. and we can see that Bitcoin is just ever so close towards that 106,789 region. It's pretty much going to take that point, and of course, it will reverse before it even takes that. I bet that's going to be the case with this video. But going into it all, we're seeing Bitcoin making a nice move up. It's coming back into the red vector candle recovery point. And again, if you are new and you don't have this hybrid system installed on your TradingView, get over to tradersreality.com, take the free course, which is breaking down the hybrid system. And then, of course, go to the infos tab, and then it's going to walk you through on how to get the indicator installed. You just simply search Traders Reality Main, and then there you have it. And then make sure you favorite it in TradingView, and then you'll get access to it. Okay. Now, quickly going back into it, we're seeing Bitcoin trying to make that claim towards the range daily high. The average daily, the ADR, should I say, which is the average daily range. And usually when price gets towards that point, that's when it usually tends to stall out. Looking at other assets, we've got Ethereum as well. Ethereum has been bloody choppy, to say the least. We also had the same projection over here with Ethereum right there. Wanted to see her try and make a move to the upside, but I did say that just be careful with Ethereum because she's being very, very tricky. And we want to see her mark up a little bit to succeed the 3.378. I want to see the actual 3452. And we go into it and you can see she's barely made a move, man. But it's just been difficult trading Solana and Ethereum. With that being said, going over to Solana. Solana's done wonderfully. I didn't expect her to do so well, but she actually made the reversal to the upside. Again, we had that same logic over here with Solana. And she was going to due to come up towards this 1263 region. Well, not 263, but from the 249 entry point to then break out to the upside to clear out the 2669, 2369. Hasn't quite taken it yet. Still got a little while to go. But most of the guys that have taken this trade are probably going to be in profit. So be sure to take something off the table by the time you get this video. Having a look at other assets across the board with NASDAQ. Right, so where we go? And here we go. So NASDAQ's doing really well today, and it was hard trading NASDAQ. I wanted to see NASDAQ move down today. So if I just go over to the setup, we go over to it, where she was, here she is. So NASDAQ, I wanted to see her come down, but I wanted to factor in the possibility of them going up. And I always do that. I always say, what could they do first beforehand? So they were going to give the move up to then bring it back down again. And what they effectively done was they made the move down, but didn't quite go all the way down. Now, it was at this candlestick right here, the red candle, blue candle formation. And that is one of the strategies that we talk about in the hybrid system itself, which talks about how to use this strategy of these two vector candles, how to work out if price is going to continue from that point to the upside, because this right here was a stop run. And that's where I took this trade right here. It's just on MT4. A personal account, always start off with around 10 grand, 5 to 10 grand, and anything above that, I withdraw it. Today, right now, we've got £10,500 in profit on this move. I'm looking to try and see if NASDAQ can actually make claim towards the 22,100. This is on the CFD market itself, so it's going to be different prices, but I might be closing it off because up here would bring me about £45,000 profit. And if I just bring it down to around here, it'll bring about £25,000 profit. I think I've got more of a chance of NASDAQ making its claim towards that point at 21,827 on the CFD market than I do waiting for it to go over all the way up to 22,000 up there. Now, that's going to involve me staying up again and then holding it until the start of the marketplace. It's Friday, it's Thursday tomorrow, Wednesday tomorrow. What am I talking about? Is it Wednesday? Yeah, it's Wednesday tomorrow. Trump's going to be talking, so the market's going to get a little bit chaotic. So I've got to be very careful with this. So by the time I'm done with my sleep tonight, I'll probably close this trade off, start again, and then wait for the next opportunity. All right, but I'm going to keep a hold on this to see how NASDAQ actually ends up going into the evening. All right. So quickly for the holders. Right now, Bitcoin is currently at the 107 region itself. There are several offers coming into play with Bitcoin. It does show us that there is a lot of people wanting to sell the Bitcoin, but primarily everything going up right now is because everyone's anticipating Trump to say something, which is where FOMO's coming into play. And you can see that the day itself is a very strong day. Look at it. It's just doing fantastic. And as long as Bitcoin stays above the 5 and 13 EMA, which are these two moving averages. So again, if you haven't downloaded this system itself, get onto the Traders Reality website, go to the info tab right here, and you'll be able to get access to the system. It will show you how to get it installed. But primarily what you've got to look out for is as long as price stays between the 5 and 13 EMA on the daily time frame, you have an expectation that price is going to continue higher. When we look at the liquidity, you can say, oh, look, man, they're there. They're waiting to sell. They want Bitcoin high. And I do believe that going into Asia tonight, we're probably going to see this narrative continue to the upside. So just make sure you're taking some profits off the table. But remember, we're coming away from a consolidation. And you notice it. So the rise up, the retrace, the breakout to the upside. Be mindful, because if they do decide to break out from this point right here, there is a possibility that all the breakout traders are going to go long from there, and then they're going to end up getting shaken out because price will then reverse like it did today just before the start of the New York session or during the Brinksbox session itself. So just take that into consideration, guys. All right. Now, with that being said, it has been a little bit of a choppy week, to say the least, but we're going to be going back into the swing of things. Of course, tomorrow is a normal day in the market, so we don't have to worry about anything other than Trump speaking at any random point. But with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed tonight's quick update, and I'll be tuning into you all tomorrow for some more New York flavor. Take care of yourselves, gang. Peace. I still got to stop this winking, man.